All right. And we are now live. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Once again, thank you for your patience, family. We've been on a roll this week. I told y'all it was going to be like that in the beginning of the week, and it has been just that. I have delivered. Today is going to be no different. It is going to be an absolutely magnificent show tonight. We're not going to waste no time. We're going to bring this brother right on. The brother will be at Gathering of the Masters. I hope y'all got your live stream tickets. If y'all, shout out to everybody who got tickets to be there. But it's going to be amazing. I look forward to seeing this brother there doing his thing. Tonight, amazing show, amazing topic. Photo light angels. Dr. B, I want to welcome you back to the show.
Man, it's an honor to be here. It's an honor to be breathing at this particular time on the planet in this space.
Yeah.
Right now, this is it. And it's just a magical time, brother. Good to be here, man. Thank you.
Indeed. We was talking behind the scenes. I don't know what word to describe the times that we are in now. One thing I would know is that people do not have time to waste. I don't have time to waste. I know the family don't have time to waste. So, we're taking this information more serious than ever, most of us. And I think that's a beautiful thing. People are really serious about implementing this information in their life, Dr. B. One of the interesting things you've talked about since I met you is this photon belt. And you continue to stress to me about how the light that is hitting the planet is different than what it's ever been since we've been alive. I hear people talk about second suns. I remember talking about the sun, the light being different from the sun, and people saying this star's coming in, that star's coming in, planet this, planet that. We do know there's some type of light codes that is hitting us that it just ain't, it's different from what it used to be, Doc. And it's a good feeling. It's a good feeling despite what we see on the TV, on the media, on social media. It's a good feeling. It's an assuring feeling. I don't know if it's little aliens talking to us and we don't know it. Everybody's ears is ringing now, but I know you're going to give us a lot of answers today. So without further ado, Doc, let's have this conversation. They say angels is angels. We talking about light. They say light is information. Let's talk about this photon light, Dr. B. Let's talk about this photon light angels, my brother. I wear my Yahweh hat.
I like that. So everything is made of vibrations.
Yeah.
And everything that vibrates is light.
Mm-hmm.
Even your elements on the periodic table are light.
Mm-hmm.
They may be more condensed light, but they're light.
Mm-hmm.
The light that we see, that we recognize, is a very small slice of the spectrum of light and energy. We see. So when we think of light, we think of what we see. We think of the light bulb, we think of the sun, but light is much more vast than that. Light, it depends on the type of light. Some light is waves. Some light is particles, and some is particles and waves. It's a very diverse subject we're on here. We are photovoltaic beings, just like plants. For plants, the sun hits the leaves, chlorophyll in the leaves, right? Creates energy, creates sugars, creates food, along with the minerals that the tree is pulling up from, or the plant is pulling up from the soil. So we are like plants. We take in light, and that light becomes energy. That light changes when it hits the melanin. It's transduced. And that energy is what goes through our cells, especially the light that goes through the eyes, or in through the head right here, or even through the top of the head where the lens is at the top. That light hits the pineal. The pineal takes that light and that information And that creates a cascade through the glands of the body. And in the center of our body, in the third chakra, there is the largest bundle of nerves, period. The solar plexus. Plexus means a bundle.
Right.
Solar is light. So the solar plexus is lit up. In fact, our nerves are they're light beings. They're like, what do you call it? With cables. Like right now you have a light pipe. Your nerves are like light pipes. In fact, they are light pipes. Most things in technology are actually copying what what nature does naturally. The type of light that the body receives or uses depends on the person's frequency. It depends on the person's, not just their personality, but their mind state, also what they're eating, how they're living, what their goals are, where they're going, what is their process in life. But that light that everybody receives is here because everybody gets the light. Everybody's getting the light. But depending on who we are and where we're going, that is what determines how we use light. Some of us are light benders. Some of us, even when we can't see the light at night, we still glow. We all glow because we're all made of biophotons. And biophotons are these small particles of light. They call them weak light, that actually all living things emit these biophotons. But biophotons are really interesting because when you see biophotons, you could tell they're living little light creatures, beings. You can see them dancing around and they're navigating and they're playing. Some people see them. Sometimes, you can go outside or you can look at a wall and you see these little lights and they're moving around and they're fast. Yeah. Some of them are moving slow. Those are biophotons, and living things emit these biophotons. The amount of light a person emits, you can feel it. You can tell a person when a person is enlightened, when a person is on fire, when a person's solar plexus, right, is glowing to the point where they're using the light, where they're condensing the light, if they're with transforming light, and they're being light. That's why they said we should be lighthearted. It doesn't just mean we're laughing and fun all the time. Lighthearted has to do with the amount of light in your body, the amount of light being transduced or being emitted from your heart, because your heart also is a vortex of light. Your heart is a brain. We have several different brains, just not the cranial brain. There's the heart brain. If you can study heart math, they talk a lot about that. There's the gut brain, which is also light. So when we talk about being enlightened, some people just think that that just means knowing a lot of stuff. Well, that might be what we've called it. That's what the reference for the word is. But actually, to be enlightened means that you are gathering as much light as possible, and you're able to emit light and use light and bend light and transform light to become the light person. When you become the light person, when you're of lightness, then all of a sudden you become like a lighthouse. And the lighthouse doesn't shine just when boats are on. It doesn't wait till a boat's on the harbor or a boat's coming in on the sea or it's on the horizon. A true lighthouse shines all the time. A true person who is enlightened is shining all the time, even if they say nothing. It's not about what you're saying, it's who you're being, it's what you're being. Being means light. If you're saying I'm a being, I'm being of light, because you can only be if you're of light. That's why, you always hear me say travel light. That means travel as light, be the light.
Right.
Emit the light. Just don't steal the light. Some folks want to steal the light of others. Think about that. Why are you trying to steal other people's lights? Why we talk about throwing shade on other people? Because you're attempting to steal light. There's some beings that steal light. That's what they're here to do. Some folks have entities in them that are here, right? That are taking light from others. They're causing shade. They're causing drama because that's what they do. They're light. They don't have enough light. They don't really have enough light. So they may steal your light, steal other people's light. Some of the foods that we eat They suck the light out of our bodies, especially these foods that are dry, that have got to be rehydrated. Think about that. Some of these dry foods that folks eat, even vegans, it don't make any difference. We eat some of these dry foods and your body's got to go search for water to rehydrate this dry stuff. Well, if you don't have enough water, then guess what? You can't use light correctly, because light, when it hits water, creates a whole nother type of energy. You see, when the sun hits your skin and your hair, which are antennas, by the way, your hair are antennas. When the sun hits your hair and your skin, it turns it into electricity. But if you don't have enough water, you can't generate enough electricity. So a lot of people are in actually deficit. They're in energy deficit. They're burned out. We don't have enough energy. We don't have enough fire. So interesting. Some folks say, well, I get my light because I do the sun gazing thing. That's good. That's great. You do sun gazing.
Mm-hmm.
I personally don't do sun gazing. And one of my teachers said, Dr. B, you don't need to sun gaze because your most powerful energy is coming from Sirius, from the stars, from a star, from a group of stars. You're receiving energy from Sirius. That's where you're going to get your most light. Not the light we see, because we think that we need to see the light to have light. No, there's light coming from everywhere. There's dark light. There's many different types of light. There's condensed light. There's liquid light. There's solid light.
Mm-hmm.
So I stargaze. I go out at night and gaze at the stars. Some people say, well, those things, they're not bright enough. This is because you think that more is better. But if you're outside at night, guess what? You are taking advantage of all the biophotons and all the light from the entire galaxy, the part that you can see wherever you are on the planet when you're out at night. You're taking advantage of all of it. Now, what's really interesting is that we're at a time we have never been before. Some folks say, well, history repeats itself. When has history ever repeated itself? Nothing ever happens exactly the same in nature. Nothing. You could try to make it fit. I'm telling you, no two snowflakes, no two leaves, no two events. They're always different, even if it's just slightly different. There's no straight lines in nature. Isn't that what Terrence Howard just broke that down?
Yeah.
There's no straight lines. Everything is curving and moving. Everything is living. Everything is changing and spiraling and expanding and contracting. It's living. It's a living heartbeat. It's living music. Music, right, is not real serious, right? Real serious music is not a loop. It's growing and expanding and changing. So there is a cycle. Some people call it precession of the equinoxes. Some folks call it the sidereal day, but it is the cosmic calendar that is between 24 and 26,000 years. That is a natural calendar, and it has to do with the way the planet leans, right? Because the planet is wobbling, and what parts of the sky the pole is leaning towards. The 26,000 year calendar is the most exact calendar, but it's just not going around in a loop. It's spiraling. It's changing. It's moving because our planet is moving. It's not staying in the same place. In fact, the planet is not going around the sun. It's spiraling around the sun. The sun is spiraling around Sirius. It's a spiral. To be truly spiritual, that means you're constantly expanding and growing, and you're not in a loop. You're not caught doing the same thing over and over and over. So every 13,000 years, our solar system goes through a part of space called the photon band or the photon belt. Some call it the photon cloud. It's a mysterious cloud in space that's made of condensed biophotons. It's like a cloud planet, but it's you can go through it because it's not dense. In fact, Most things are not dense. Most things are 99.9% space. Even the table, the computer, it's more space than anything else. And space is the final frontier. The space is where the things are happening. It's the emptiness that we think is empty where the stuff is at. There is no zero. There is no void. In the biophotonic cloud, when we go through that cloud, which takes about 2,000 years to go through, like some people say, well, no, Dr. B, your calculations are a little off. Okay, let's not get technical. Let's call it 2,000 years. In fact, a year is not really a year anyway. And a day is really not really a day. And a second is not really a second. We've all agreed to what somebody told us things were. And they're not. Nothing they told you is right because what? Things are faulty fundamentals built into the system. We've built it in. What we're saying is that every 13,000 years, our solar system goes through this cloud of condensed light, and everything on the planet changes. Now remember I said earlier, there's no loops. There's no loop in space either, right? So even though it's happening every 13,000 years, actually that's 13,000, 12,000. It's never exact. And we're spiraling. Our whole system is spiraling and moving through space. So we are now at a place in space, spiraling through a place in space we've never been before. But that cloud follows the solar system, or we follow it. We go through it. It is some type of way magnetically connected to something that we don't totally understand, but we do know that when we go through that, we receive more light, more condensed light, more biophotons. We go through this, it's like a universe or a cloud or a whole planet space cloud. I don't even know how to say it. Planet space cloud. That's something new. But what happens is when we go through there, we receive more information than we were able to receive for the last 13,000 years. There's more available information because light is information. Light carries information.
Right.
When we go through the photon band, part of the DNA they call junk DNA, it begins to turn on. Because if you look at the chromosomes, chroma, what's that mean? Light or color. Zomes means bodies. That means that your chromosomes are bodies, right? They're beings that are there to catch light. That's why they show you the DNA and they show you all these different colors like the rainbow or like the chakras. Right. Because they're little ladders, right? Little dishes, like little antennas that are there to pick up light. The DNA of its own doesn't really do anything, but it holds a small bit of information, right? Let's call it 10%. Some people say it's 1, but let's call it 10. That 10% of that DNA, it has the energy of your parents. So you got some of the look from your parents and your grandparents. You have some of that stuff stored in there. But we now know that the genes are waiting for a certain signal or a certain environmental space to create an outcome. The genes are not determining your life. So just put that 10% over there, but 90% of the DNA, they're calling it junk DNA because they haven't seen it come on. They haven't seen it do anything. They can't see it do anything because they don't recognize, right, how the body works or how cells truly work. In fact, most science that is not truly exact. They don't know. They're guessing. It's guesswork. It's theories. The junk DNA is not junk. It picks up information based on its environment. So if you're thinking a certain way, the DNA begins to respond and react based on how you're thinking or how you're acting or how you're eating or what you're drinking or who you're with, who you're mating with. All of that begins to change and cause the DNA, right? Your genes become genies. The genies are what? When they talked about the genie, right? The genie is a symbol of the genes. It's on a magic carpet, right? The magic carpet is DNA on its side. You see how it's rippling?
Go ahead, Doc.
The genie sits on the carpet, the carpet. This is like the spirit vehicle. This is a spaceship. Do you understand what I'm saying? Now, the genie sits on that carpet, and the genie is what? Ready to generate based on your desire. So you rub the bottle. The bottle is your body. You rub your body by talking, you're vibrating. By singing, you're vibrating. By massage, you're vibrating. By dance, by movement, by exercise, by walking, you are rubbing the bottle.
There you go.
And when you rub the bottle by doing, you emit a certain signal, certain types of light, biophotons from the body, electricity, right, begins to come from the body. And the top of the head opens up. That's the vase. That the vase is your body. The Bata that the genie is in is your body. The Bata. You feel me? Now they say the top pops off. The top of your head, where the lens is the thinnest bones in the body, are at the top of your head, because they got to be very thin, almost translucent, so that light can come in, information can come in through, the information can come in through the chimney. That's right. The chimney.
Right.
From the cosmos, you're getting information. That's what they talk about when they say, it comes down through the chakras. It comes through the top chakra first, right? Because that information is a lens. It's coming through a lens and is shining down on the core of your system. Now, what happens is when you rub the body, the top of the bottle pops off. Let me give you, for instance.
Please.
Let's say you're being chased. And I remember being chased by the cops. Several times we were doing things that were against what the cops felt we should be doing. We were running. I've got my baseball cap on and I can't go any faster. What do you do when you really need to run? You have to pull the cap off. You've seen this. You've done this. You will run sometimes twice as fast if you take the top off, because there's a vapor that comes from the body, because your head breathes, and see, your skull is made of what they call sutures, which are bones that are like netted together.
Right.
And when you run and when you walk, the sutures move. They breathe. It's like it massages your brain when you move. That's why they say even walking is very good, because those sutures in your brain, they begin to pump and they begin to move, which is also what causes the pineal, right? The pinealine, right? The golden juice, the pinealine to be emitted when you walk, when you move. You see, when you rub the body, when you do something, you begin to move, right? And that squeezes the brain or squeezes the head, and that causes a vapor to shoot out through the top of your head. That vapor, it creates a channel for more information. It creates a space. It's like here's what it is. It's a vortex. So you know how when water's going down the drain, it's spinning to the right, in northern hemisphere, spinning to the left in the southern hemisphere. What happens is this energy begins to spin at the top of your head. And if you look down, you see that spiral of water. It's an opening in the middle. And it's sucking vapors. Vapor is moving in and out of this spiral. It creates an energy vortex out the top of your head. So when they say that when you rub the bottle, the top pops off. It means the bottle opens.
Hey, Dr. B, real quick, is this where the soft spot is in the baby's head?
Exactly.
Shit.
Some people's soft spot never closed up. Totally.
Right.
Like, in martial arts, man, you can hit somebody right there. It's done. This is why a lot of people wear caps. You see a lot of, people who are in certain types of belief systems, they'll have a cap on over that spot. You got to protect that spot. That's why people wear diadems. This is why people cover their hair. This is why
the Hebrews wear the yarmulke, the little yarmulke. Right?
Everybody who knows covers that spot at certain times. You're out in crowds and public and certain things. This is even the whole thing with locks.
Right.
Covering that spot. You got hair. One time I was dealing with this guy. When I was studying fulvic acid, don't let me forget to get back to the genie. We're getting back there.
Yes, please. This is
studying with this guy. His name is Dr. Faust. Yes. Dr. Faust is like the top person on the planet when it comes to fulvic acid and humic acid and all those type of things, and a lot of the monoatomic elements. And I was studying with him for a while, and it was interesting because he was like in what was he in Hawaii. And he asked me, now I hadn't met him at this point. And I told him, I said, I'd like to use fulvic acid in my herbal products. He says, huh? Why would you do that? I said, well, fulvic acid, it creates like a freight train of information. It's like putting information on a supersonic jet and jams it into the cells. It carries information. Whatever information is in the fulvic acid, which is a liquid version of humic acid, it drives it. So I said, I'd like to put that in my herbs. He says, well, I don't know if anybody's ever done that. I said, well, I'd like to do it. I said, but I don't know how much fulvic acid to put in each of my products. He says, check this out. He says, okay, I want you to sit carefully and just breathe. And he says, are you near your products? I said, yes. He said, just breathe for a minute. And he says, there's a computer to your right. And I'm like, I'm on the telephone, okay? Old school telephone. I said, yes. And he said, there's a window to your left and the sun is out, right? I'm like, yes. How are you seeing this? He said, I'm triangulating you. I said, what do you mean? He said, I'm remote viewing you. He said, the only thing is I can't view your head. I said, why? He said, because you've got locks. He says, do you know remote viewers cannot view a person's natural hair? If your hair is like locks or it's even in natural braids, if you're wearing an afro, we can't read it because that scrambles the light and protects you. He says, I lived with the Rastas. This man is deep. He said, I lived with the Rastas for many years and the Maroons. You know, there's the Maroons. That's even deeper than the Rastas.
Yeah.
And he says, we learned about all of these different things that they did.
Yes.
And these rhythms that they played. And these sounds and these things that they did. And the locks had more to do with, you couldn't be found. You couldn't be located.
This is amazing.
Because of the spiral of the hair. Because the spiral of the hair, when you're in the natural spiral of the hair, you're picking up information that's in the galaxy because the information in the galaxy, it travels in spirals. It doesn't travel in straight lines. It travels in curves and ellipses. It's spirals. It's a spiral universe. So by you having your hair in a natural spiral, you can't be located. I'm like, what? He says, yeah, that's why they didn't want. He said there was the Dred Scott decision. He starts breaking down all this stuff where they didn't want folks wearing their natural hair. Put on some fake hair. Put on straighten that hair. Poison that hair. Dye that hair. Because when you dye it, you kill it. Right? Do all these things to your hair because they can't find you. They don't know where you are if you've got your natural hair. But anyway, back to this guy real quick. Finally, we get to this point where my mind is blown because he can actually see me, but he can't see my head. And he says, I want you to hold your hand over each of your products. So I have these big gallon bottles of the products. I mean, it's raw. And he says, hold your hand over one. And he says, okay, put a cup of fulvic acid in that one. He says, go to the next one. He says, 2 cups. And I put my hand over every product. And he's telling me from Hawaii how much fulvic acid to put in that product. Why? Because fulvic acid carries light. It bends light. It looks gold. This special type of gold water. Not the gold water we know of that we talk about. There's another type of gold water. You feel Wujinsan is called in China. Wujinsan is a very special type of water. So I started making all my products based on this water. And we had to get the purest type because most of what they sell in the store it's been watered down. So we were getting it directly from the source. But the water, when we would get it, it would glow and it had little particles in there. He said, those are biophotons. That's how you know it's real. And if you took a light, right? If you took a flashlight and shined it through the bottle, you would see the wave of light. The light wouldn't go straight through. It would curve. It would curve. The way that you know if an element is good for human consumption is if you put a light through it, a laser, and it spins to the right. If the light spins to the right, then it has proteins that your body can use. If the light spins to the left, then it has proteins that are poison. That's how they know, using spectrographs, if something is good for human consumption. A lot of the foods that people eating, even some of your quote unquote vegan foods, are not good for human consumption because they spin the light to the left. So let's go back to the genie. By the way, this guy was like a genie to me. And then later on, I began to learn some of the techniques that he was using. And, we use them now in the subconscious alignment. So check this out, man. Oh, by the way, my products changed. People want to know, but Dr. B, what are you doing? I use the same herbs because I put my list on the product. You can see what I'm using. I guarantee you try to make it, you can't make it. Because my products are not herbal products. They got light energy, they got sound, they got frequency, they got oxyphobic, oxyhumic, and a lot of elements that are based on how much light and biophotons they put out. We have this instrument that we use. I should have brought it so you guys can see it. It's an instrument that you can look at your herbs or look at anything you're about to take, and depending on where it is in the light spectrum, let you know if that is good for this formula. Just because you heard that olive leaf is supposed to be good, right? What we found out, there's only one olive leaf that really does what they say in the books, and that's the olive leaf that's coming from North Africa. The Moroccan olive leaf, even some of the Greek olive leaf, in that area, there's something about the energy in the soil where that is the olive leaf that does what they're talking about in the books. Your olive leaf that came from Oregon and these trees growing in America, they're olive leaves. You see, they don't even grow olives. The olives look a little funny. They look like retard olives. They just look shrunken and you know what I'm saying? They don't have that energy because those olives that grow there, in fact, your best olive oil is always going to be that olive oil from Morocco. It's going to be from Morocco. Now, it's going to cost maybe 4 or 5 times more, but that has light in it. So let's get back. When you rub the body, massage, speaking, toning, walking, movement, the energy at the top of your head opens up to receive more information from the cosmos. A vapor comes out of your head, right? When you see the genie movies, right? Don't they rub the bottle? And this vapor, the genie's down in the bottle. Yes, he comes out as a mystical vapor.
Yeah.
He comes out as a mystical vapor.
Yeah.
He's a mystic. That means that he is not speaking because the word mystical means no tongue. Oh, you can't tell me. You don't explain to me your mystical experience. Oh, man, B, I had a mystical experience. And let me tell you something. Light came down and I saw this pink lady and she came. And I think that was the Mother Mary's sister's brother. And anyway, they start telling you about their mystical experience. Actually, you can't explain a mystical experience. It's ineffable. You can attempt to use words and references to try to explain something that can't be explained. That's why the tongue, right? The tongue, the English tongue, the way we talk is not very vast. It doesn't really have all the explanation and all the energy and all the soul, because true soul can't be spoken.
Mm-hmm.
It can only be represented through music, through feeling, through dance, through rhythm. You understand what I'm saying? That's why they took as much soul out of music as possible, because soul music, right, which is what all the music was when we was doing it, right? It was expression music. They got rid of soul music, turned it into R&B. Then we went on down. We kept reducing it. Now we got this thing that we're trying to have soul. And, it's like the feeling and all the pieces of it that made us whole, because soul has to do with whole, is taken out. So when you're expressing yourself, you're emitting this energy. You're moving. You're rubbing the bottle. Mm-hmm. If you're emitting naturally, where you're not caught in a trap, where you're not like in a cage and you're looped up and you're doing this just because this is the commercial thing to do just for the money. See, this is what kills you, because you lose your soul. You can't sell your soul, but you can lose soul. You can't sell it. How are you going to sell light? You can't sell it. You can't. Soul is like, that's the godness. You can't, people, oh, he sold his soul. So they got you saying something right there. You don't even know what you're saying. Yeah, he sold his soul, man. They be drinking blood, and you know what I'm saying? They put a sword on him and cut his hand, and they did a blood ritual. Shit, half of y'all doing blood rituals too. Don't even realize you're doing them. Half of y'all is involved in some cults right now, and some cultures that was created that you think is really deep and you think is spiritual and all this because somebody gave you some stuff and it wasn't yours, because you haven't tapped all the way into the soul, which taps you into the genie so you can generate. Now, when you begin to generate, all of a sudden something changes. Because when you rub the body and the genie pops out, the genius pops out, and it asks you, what do you desire? Isn't that what the genie says? Well, you know, they got him saying, what are your 3 wishes? Well, you know, here we go with Aladdin and them. See, now all of a sudden somebody done changed the story and turn it into a fairy tale. You getting the end of the joke. You getting the ass in the fairy tale. You see what I'm saying? So
right.
He asked you, and it's always a he, which really it had to be a she. First of all, we done flipped it. Why? Because that's what they do. They flip you like burgers. You don't even know you're on the barbecue grill. Talking about he. All the creative ones, all the great ones is he. God is a he. These things is impossible. She ask you, what do you desire? Not what do you wish. Wish is a whoosh. You know, people that wish and wish and wish, they never really get anything because it's just air blowing. Whoosh. Like it blows away like sand, dust, and feathers, dandelion puffs. You have to speak exactly what your desire is without speaking of what you do not in any way desire. When you speak and you're speaking and you're first grateful for what you already have. Don't speak about what you desire unless you have it. You got to speak as if you have it. You got to be passionate about what you desire, what you have. You'd like to bring it online. So you're asking the genie to help bring online what's already in your genes. Because remember I said your genes is full of 90% what they call junk DNA. Actually, it's an open palette. And the genie, your genes, is the genie asking you, what do you desire? What would you like to write on the scrolls? The scroll is when you unfold, right? And when you fold out the scroll, that is genes. In fact, if you look at the scrolls, did you see it looks like genes? It unfolds just like genes. It's the genes. It's the books.
You teaching tonight, man. Sun in the air.
It's week. The books.
You teaching, man.
That's the book. That's the encyclopedia that's already in you. The only thing you could learn is what you already know. Yeah. All we're doing is putting light on that part. We're shining light. That's why they show you when somebody get an idea in the cartoons, they get a little light above their head.
Yeah.
You feel me? So your genie, your genes are asking you, what do you desire? You must now, right? There's a cloud above your head, which is like the photon cloud. What light you put in the cloud is up to you. Because remember, if all living things are emitting biophotons, light. Everything you say, everything you do is putting out a kind of light. What kind of light? It depends on how you're emitting, how you're using your time. What do you have on your mind most of the time? What's on your breath? What are you speaking? What are you creating with your tongue? What is your main thought? What is your chief thought most of the day? If your thing is it's about competition and fighting and war and destruction, and if you're mass distracted, like this is a big thing now, keep the people mass distracted, keep the people inferior, keep the people living in fear. Well, guess what? They tell their genies they want more of that. The genie has to follow orders. The genie is working for you. You're the genie raider.
You know, Bruce Lipton calls this epigenetic DNA.
Exactly. I just told the epigenetic DNA story. I just gave it to you with some soul.
With some soul. He gave you the epigenetic story with some soul, indeed.
Soul is light.
Yeah.
Soul music was light music. They asked Miles Davis, you know, what do you think about jazz now? He said, well, I don't even know what jazz is. It was all soul music. They didn't categorize it so you can sell it. It's all soul. We got these categories we put things in. We categorize people and all these things when really it's about how much soul does it have? How much soul do you have? You don't sell your soul. You don't use the soul you have. So somebody else, these creatures, these beings that come to suck your soul, suck your light out because you haven't protected your light. You're not using your light. You're not using the light and the likeness of who you truly are in your total essence because you caught up in following the leaders. So We are in a cloud in space that's like a giant genie cloud. It's a giant vapor. The vapor cloud, which some is called it genie dust or genie vapor. We go through every 13. This is where it gets good, man. Every 13,000 years, we go through this genie cloud. And you get exactly what you're asking for.
Damn.
Even if it's in the disagreeable, you got it. You got it. Ain't that in the song? You got it. Ain't it from one of them James Brown songs?
Yeah.
You got it. Things are happening faster than they've ever happened. Your thoughts are crystallizing and materializing really quickly. Things are happening fast. You're driving down the freeway and all of a sudden, the engine frees up. Dang, my car. Oh, man, car that went out. The engine then froze up. Well, no, metal, right? The metal in your car heated up to a point where it began to fuse. Now, they call that in some spaces. They say, well, it's Ogun. Metal is Ogun. Metal is condensed light, metael. There's these creatures called the metaels. They're the elementals. You all know about the elemental creatures? The beings, they're rocks. You think a piece of granite is not alive? You done lost your mind. You think a piece of metal is off your... Let me tell you, I was talking to a guy today who was making some steps for us, and he's a concrete guy. He says, man, this stuff is alive. He says, all I'm doing is I'm manipulating it to the shape that you desire based on what you asked for, Dr. B. We are shaping our lives. We're creating it. But somebody, right, is pulling the strings behind the curtain. The great wizard is telling you to be angry and be mad and be hurt and talk more about the problems than the solution. So when you talk more about the problems than the solution, you are telling your generators, your genie, you're rubbing your body with the shit that you say you don't want. So you're living in a swamp. You get to choose. You want to be in a swamp? You think that what you're seeing on the live vision and all this is real when you know they ain't never told you the truth? They've been tricksters. You've been in the world of Disney. You've been dizzy and Disneyed up for a long time. They got Tinkerbell doing a reverse spiral on your ass. You understand what I'm saying? Mickey Mouse. You know what I'm saying? Listen to the song. The men I see. KEYMOUSE. Da da da. Oh shit, I'm getting depressed. Da da da. What do that sound happy? That's like a death march, like a whole lot of your songs, from the birthday song to the wedding song. A lot of this stuff is death marches, and what it does is it gets you to generate the biophotons of slavery. You don't even realize what it is. You're lulled into this stuff. Even what you call commercial music, most of that stuff, and what's commercial is usually stuff that's sucking your life force, and it got your attention to the point where you can't stand on your own. You're never at ease. You're always at attention. There's always tension in your body. And it starts off as a mood. You have a mood, but then if you have a mood more than 28 days, it becomes what? All of a sudden now it's a temperament, and you're temperamental. And all I got to do is push buttons and play with your buttons and tell you what to think and tell you what to move. You think it's on your own. I'm thinking it's on my own. No, you're not. Somebody done play with your genies. Because what's coming out your mouth, right? What you're generating, what you're rubbing is some stuff that you no way is going to ever get you off the farm. But some people need to be on the farm. I'm not trying to get people off the farm. Stay your ass on the farm. You think people talk to me, you got to help us. I can't help y'all. You got to help yourself right now. You got to make a choice. It's got to be you first. That's who you got to vote for. Voltage. That's what your voltage is, what illuminates the light around you, your voltage. So the energy that you're pulling in from whether it's the sun, whether it's the moon, Sirius, whatever your stars are, you've got to now choose how you're going to use it. How are you going to emit your time? Because the time, right, is a piece. You need the other piece of time. If you take time and flip it backwards, you get emit. So that has to do with glowing, has to do with moving. You are made of liquid crystals. You're light emitting diodes, what they call LED lights, LEDs.
LEDs, yep.
And a lot of these computers, they have a liquid crystal display. A lot of your televisions are liquid crystal. You know, I took my phone, you know, my phone don't put out blue light. Your phone put out blue light? Well, you know about the blue light? What they putting in? Why your phone is putting out blue light? You can't even see this blue light. But it begins to jam up every cell in your brain. That's why when you look at the phone, because you got to look at it just before you go to bed, because just before your bed, you need to know what they're telling you is going on in the world. What they're telling you, you need to go see what's happening. Who's you nosy too? Got to go see what such and such is talking about. Check out such. What did they put? Oh, look at that. They went to the Olive Garden. The Olive Garden.
Eating that bread, huh?
Why you need to tell these people you at the Olive Garden? You letting these folks biolocate your ass, and you like that. People put up pictures. Why do you think they got you taking pictures of everything? You don't own that telephone. You borrowing it. You read the contract on your telephone. It ain't even yours. You don't control that signal. You don't know what they do, but I gotta use it. Well, at least turn off the blue light. You go into the settings, and they got filters in the settings under accessories. You turn off the blue light, turn it red. So my phone, if you look at the red colors, they look a little pink. My phone don't have the colors like everybody. In fact, once in a while, I turn the phone on grayscale. Put your phone on grayscale, black and white. You want to see some shit? Watch black and white. You see them old movies, black and white? They can't act, they got to be acting. They ain't reading no scripts, no teleprompters. You understand what I'm saying? You see Sidney Poitier and all of them, they acting their ass off. That's why he slapped the heck out that white man. You remember that movie? Sidney Poitier was the first black man to slap a white man in a movie. You don't know about this, right? Do you know about this? They were supposed to be doing a role where, he was supposed to act like he was slapping him. But the man called him one of these N-words or one of these out-words or whatever. And so Sidney Poitier, he had a natural reaction and slapped the smithereens. For real. And it was so good, they tried it over and over with him faking it and it didn't work. They had to keep it. So he became the first black man, right, to slap a white man. But he slapped the light out of him. You know how you get slapped, man? You get the light slapped out of you. I remember Dick Gregory one time, he snatched me up. He snatched the light out of me because I was talking about something I shouldn't have been talking about and thinking about things that was not going to take us to where we was going. I was talking in the disagreeable because we was sitting on the curve in the hood, right? And people was in the neighborhood and it was real rough over the neighborhood. This is like one of the roughest neighborhoods, right? And we're sitting on the curb, right? And I'm nervous and I keep talking about, man, this is a rough neighborhood, Mr. Gregory. Did you know what happened? How many people got killed? And there's vicious dogs and there's kids on bikes. They're stealing wallets. And man, it's crazy. He said, man, will you shut up, Dr. B? And I kept talking because I was scared. And then I got quiet and I was just breathing. And he snatched me up off the curb by my neck and told me to shut the beep, 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 beep up. He said, I beeped it out myself. You know what I'm saying? Because we be thinking too much, acting too much, talking too much about things that we don't know. And when something happens, we want to talk about, I almost died. How you know you almost died? What is almost death? Well, did you see like light and all that where Jesus came and we was going through a tunnel and Alien and them came? Alien. Some of this stuff is pretty wild, Brother Rich. Anyway, what do you mean you almost died? We talk about when something happened, it didn't happen. We talk about what could have happened. Now we're predicting. So what we're doing is we're sending light out about the disagreeable that didn't happen. We're bending light. Something happened, right? But angels, can we say angels and light angels? Angels are angels of light. They're angles of light. That's what the angels are. They're angles of light. So a lot of times something happened, right? Where something disagreeable could have happened, but it didn't. But we start speaking about what almost happened. Man, it was crazy, man. We was out there, man, and he here, but it didn't happen. But we speak about what didn't happen and bring it into the space right now, which vibrates your body and tells the genie, the generator, the light force, right? You're telling it what you would like to attract. More drama. Do you hear what I'm saying, Brother Rich? You there?
Oh yeah. No, I'm here. Let me come on the camera real quick. Yeah, I'm thoroughly enjoying this show. You teaching tonight, Doc. Let me show you something real quick while you take a break. Let you take a break real quick. You talking about the phone, something me and my family got. Remember the Nextels from back in the day? These are like the Nextels, and it's nationwide coverage, but it allows me to leave my phone at home sometime, or just not, because pretty much I'm not a phone person. I don't talk on the phone much. So I just really need to communicate with my family most of the time. But I get so tired of the phone and just the whole energy, the vibration of the phone. Sometimes you need a break from it. So sometimes I just go out with one of these, and my lady got one, my son, my whole team, we got some of these, and we could communicate with these, and just give the phone a break. You know what I'm saying? Just implementing. Yeah, everybody loved Nextel. Nextel was the shit back in the day to chirp. We used to be like, yo, chirp, chirp. You know what I'm saying? But this is like, anybody that wants to know, this is called Rapid Radios, and this is like nationwide coverage. I don't know. I never tried in another state, but yeah, just starting to implement ways to give technology a break, Dr. B. Just like another example before, I'm just giving you a little break. Me and Yaki was talking yesterday about sensory deprivation. Sometimes I do sensory deprivation where I don't want, closing my eyes ain't enough. I want to complete blindfold my eyes. It's a different feeling if you ever done it, family.
Turn it around, show them the back of the mindfold. You need to see the back part. You see that?
Yeah.
Those openings are there so your eye can be open.
Yeah.
While
exactly.
you're blindfolded, your eyes are open.
Yeah.
And when your eyes are open, they're expecting and looking for something. So check this out. When we use the mindfolds, your eye is open and your eyes actually send a signal out. See, they think that light comes to your eye. Actually, your eyes it's an exposed part of your brain. It's the only part of your brain that's exposed. These eyes are part of your brain. They're made of the same material. They send out waves of searchers. They're seekers, and they go out and look for things that you can recognize. That's why sometimes you can't see certain things, and you're looking for your keys, you can't find them. You see what I'm saying? So with mindfolds, we use those to block off the regular light. And what happens is once your eyes are open and they don't find anything, check this out.
I know what you're gonna say. Go ahead, Doc. Say it. Say it. Say it.
I'm gonna have to talk to Yaki. Me and him got to sit down. It's time for us to have a conversation.
Listen, this gathering, y'all. Oh, by the way, that's my cue. Family, make sure. Do you hear? Did you see what happened this week on Black Magic 363? Woo. What Dr. B's talking about tonight, what Yaki was talking about yesterday, the day before that, KT was talking about what Supercell decoded. The day before that, Dr. Jude Prukum was talking. I had Dr. Jude Prukum, KT the Oshagri, Yaki Awake, and Dr. B, and tomorrow Sharif Bay will be on here, all in the same week. We gathering, y'all.
Years ago,
on that link, man. Woo! Powerful.
Many years ago, myself and a few others, we brought Dr. Jude Prukum to Los Angeles.
You told me.
That was a whole situation. We have to talk about that off the air. That was one of the deepest things ever. That right there. It's like, and she was wearing this, I want to call it an outfit. It looked like a wedding dress.
Yeah.
But it was emitting light. She looked like like an angel. When I see her, we gotta, we always talk about this kind of stuff. But,
you'll see her.
But check it out. The mindfolds. You can buy them right online. When
these companies need to start paying me. I be getting these companies a lot of money, man.
Me too.
I be
telling folks about all kind of stuff. Everything ain't about the money though. Sometimes we got to give things.
It's a joke.
People need these right now because see, there's so much mass distraction going on right now.
Hey, real quick, like Dr. B, just get the ones where your eyes can stay open, family.
They're called mindfolds.
Amazon. Yeah, get the ones where your eyes can stay open. Good. I'm sorry.
They're called mindfolds.
Yeah.
When your eye is open and you're in endarkenment, your eye sends a beam out looking for the things you recognize. Yeah. And because there's nothing out there that it can see, the light bends back and goes inside of you, and you begin to see inside yourself, sometimes for the first time. And when you look around, you're going to see a whole lot of stuff that you're like, well, what the hell is that? That's why a lot of my brothers that were in solitary confinement, there's a couple things that happens. Some folks lose it, they snap, they're never the same. Other folks wake up because they got, you're at a point where you begin to talk to yourself and have this dialogue between you and yourself. You start saying, there's other creatures in my head, other beings in my head. But when you get down to the oneness, when you find really the true you, the true article, that's the most amazing thing. So, things like mind folds. Back in the day, what we would do is we would get a room, we would take a room, and we would darken out all the room, the whole room. So no light, dark paper over the windows. We would do this. And, a lot of folks would lose their minds. In fact, I snapped a couple of times. I've had several breakdowns. Sometimes you're going to have a breakdown to break out. But when I couldn't find myself, when I didn't know who I was, and I realized that I was not who I was emitting, the information and the light that I had been emanating was the light from my parents, the light from my grandparents, the light from all the information. And a lot of the light codes that we have been emitting have been the light codes of slavery, or the light codes of disempowerment, or the light codes of being victims. We're victims. You're voting victocrat. So what happens is that you now are putting out that light. And now your eyes look for more evidence. And now the reticular activating system in your brain looks for more of what you're focusing on, what you're talking about, who you're being, how you're acting, what drum you're beating, what song, what is the song, what is your chorus every day, what's the stuff you keep saying over and over and over. People got a whole rhythm. As soon as you meet them, they got this talk. I saw one of my brothers the other day, and I was saying, oh, man, I didn't want to see him, man, because he's going to start this talk. Guess what? He said, man, Dr. B, so, man, what you think about all what's going on? I said, what do you mean what's going on? Oh, you know what I'm saying? I know what he's saying, but I don't know what he's saying because I can't go there. I had to cut him off quick. I said, man, you see that? And he looks up at this guy and said, what was that? I said, you didn't see that? You didn't see that light? You don't see the light? What light? Where, Dr. B? What do you think it was? You think it was the government spying? The government ain't got time to spy on you. What government? The government's gone. You better mint your own governor. You better govern your own mint. You better mint your own money. You got to make your own energy. You got to create your own light right now. You can't keep going on and on, repeating this stuff in a loop, right? Over and over and over. You got to now be the light. Are you ready to be the light? It's your music. It's your frequency. Let's go back to the photon band.
Yeah.
The photon belt. We are in a place in space. First of all, the whole planet and the solar system hasn't been here for 13,000 years. Do you know when we begin to enter the photon band? And brother Rich, you can look this up. You can show it on the screen. Look up Supernova 1987A. Supernova 1987A. They're going to show you pictures. Get ready for the big payback. Supernova 1987A. When you see it, look, I'm not going to tell you what it looks like, but you'll see it. Supernova 1987A was noticed by two amateur astronomers in 1987. That was when the light from this particular supernova hit the Earth. When it was noticed for the first time was when the light had been traveling, because a lot of these lights that you see have been traveling for millions of years. In fact, some of these stars and things are not even there anymore. The light just reached you. You see? You looking? You find it yet? Brother Rich?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
87A. Can you show?
I found it. I'm just, these websites got so many ads. I'm looking for the best website.
Look for the one that shows the images. Just look up images.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. They want me to subscribe and sign up for the mailing list. And
man, sign up.
Okay, let me just do the NASA. Let me do the NASA website.
That's the soul space, the space crew. NASA. Those is black astronauts.
Yeah. The dawn of a new era for Supernova 1987. Yeah, hey.
That ain't a good picture, man. That ain't the right picture. They ain't even showing it. Keep going. Let's see if they show it. Nope. Nope. There we go. There's going to be another one. There's one where they show two, looks like an 8. Look for the one that looks like an 8 and looks like an I. See, there's two. Actually, there's supposed to be 2 of those. See, they already started manipulating this. Keep going. Okay, anyway, they're not showing it exactly. But what it is 2 supernovas, 2 stars exploded at the same time. Yeah. And there's a green light in the middle of supernova 1987A. That green light hit the planet, right, in 1987. Mm-hmm. What it did was it changed everything on the planet, and the DNA, right? They had been looking up, trying to figure out the DNA and all that. They weren't able to figure the DNA out. And this is, some people say, well, Dr. B, you're not being exact. I know we got some scientists on here who are listening. You're not being exact. Well, the soul is not exact. Okay, just follow me here. When the light from supernova 1987A hit the planet, the DNA of everything on the planet began to glow. It's like it lit up. That's when they finally did the whole genome. It actually woke up. They could see all the genes. They couldn't see them before. It was like they saw some and they had theories, but it actually began to glow when supernova 1987A hit the planet. In 1987A, everything changed. All children born after during or after 1987 are crystal children. This is when you start seeing these children that ain't got time to be talking. They on some whole other stuff. They know stuff that you couldn't know, and you want them to talk to you, but they don't talk because they're so connected. They're like another dimension. They're like a super upgrade where we don't talk so much. We got to learn telepathy. Some of these children that don't talk, they're into telepathy. And you trying to talk with your mouth, and your mouth is dirty. You need it washed out because we've been saying so much that don't mean nothing because we don't know how to be quiet. Because we're always looking for things to make sense. Well, he won't talk. Well, what do you ain't talking about nothing.
Dr. B, I'm sorry. I got to give you the telepathy test today. I give all the spiritual teachers on this channel the telepathy test, and I write a number down, and they guess it.
7.
And it's I ain't read it down yet. Goddamn, Dr. B.
There's no time. What are you talking about? It's a 7.
Yo, this dude is hilarious.
Talking about you're gonna write it. For you to say that, you've already written it. It's already written.
We gonna do it later. We're gonna do it later.
You're gonna try to trick me later on. Okay, all right. Sorry.
You want to do it now?
I'm telling you what it is. It's a 7.
I can't put 7 now though, because you already said 7. So
if you would listen to what I'm saying, what I'm saying is the number that you're going to write is a 7. Do you know why?
Why?
Because it's an angle of light. 7 is an angle. This show is a 7. We're in the 7th heaven right now. 1987. The number is a 7. What I am is a precog.
You a Sybil?
I'm what they call a precog. That means I know about some stuff before it happened. That's why I be leaving places.
That's
we was over at the spot the other day. You see me leave, I got to go. Y'all was standing around, I got to go.
Yeah.
Where Dr. B go? Look, I know some stuff about to happen. I need to leave. What's about to happen? It doesn't have to be disagreeable. I am led by precognition. We all are actually. We just don't know it because everything is happening on the event horizon. So the event horizon is a place where it's the thing didn't happen yet, but like when the sun comes up, right? Just before the sun comes up, you notice like the mountains of the east begin to glow, or the horizon begins to glow.
Right.
The sun hasn't come up yet, but it is about to. So you can see the light coming up, showing itself before the actual sun. That is the event horizon. So before anything happens that you can detect, because your detection is slow. Remember I said we only know a very small spectrum of light. So before it happens, there is a wave of energy that comes through it. How do you think the martial artist does it? How do you think Bruce Lee knew how they was going to swing? How do you think
Mayweather?
Any boxer, you don't wait till somebody swings to block it. It's too late. You got to be in precognition mode. You got to feel the wave. You got to be on the event horizon because there's an energy, there's waves and particles of light coming from the thing before it happens. If you wait for it to happen, you're too late. This is what we've been waiting for things to happen. We've been living caught up in time. So if you're caught up in time, then that means that you're blind because the thing already happened.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be the happening. I'm telling you, the number is 7. The number is going to be 7. So I don't, telepathy is late to me.
Mm.
What I'm saying is it's already happened. Everything that ever happened and everything that will ever happen is happening right now. You got to feel it. I'm a percussionist. I feel it before it happens. I don't wait till you hit the drum, the snare. I don't wait for the downbeat. I'm in between the downbeat. I'm the candy in between the beats. That's why I love percussion. Real percussion, not the percussion you get from your drum machine with the same loop going around. I'm talking about real, organic, soulful percussion that is what improvisation happening. What did you saw the movie, The Man That Fell to Earth, right?
Right, yeah.
When they found the most powerful source of energy in the universe, it was music and it was improvisation and specifically jazz. Why? Because jazz lives on the event horizon. The true jazz, not this soft jazz. You know what I'm saying? Soft jazz tonight. We've got a brand new style by Bobby Cars. Now I ain't talking about that.
This dude is hilarious, yo.
They done put an 808 on it. And the horn is blowing. I'm talking about real jazz is real soul. It's improvisation. Improvisation comes from living on the event horizon, not waiting for something to happen, being the happening, because a happening is only but momentary. Like happiness is only momentary. I don't want somebody to make me happy. You gonna control my happiness? What do you mean? What about joy? In joy, it's got to do with light coming from you. Have you seen the movie? You know a movie I'm about to mention, right? What movie? Get the movie. We're going to do the telepathy. Brother Rich, which movie am I talking about?
Interstellar?
Nope.
I don't know.
In is right. Some of y'all know. Y'all got it. Inside Out. Have you seen this movie?
Yeah. Me and you were supposed to do a show on that.
I'm talking about the new one.
The new one, yeah, I've seen it. Amazing.
Who is attempting to get everybody together? Who's attempting to organize the whole body, all the emotions? Her name is Joy.
Yeah.
Her colors are green and purple blue. She's the heart and she's the upper chakras. That movie is a documentary. What emotion took over and almost killed the girl?
Anxiety.
That is one of the top killers of human beings.
Oh, anxiety was, oh Lord.
The anxiety took over. She had all the missing teeth. You know what I'm saying? Her mouth was wide. She was loud. And what was she doing? She was creating a future event that didn't happen. She was in what we call, a construct future. She was creating futures that didn't happen. She wasn't in the moment. She wasn't in the now. When you're in anxiety mode, it's because you're thinking about things that didn't happen, that might not happen, that couldn't happen.
Yeah.
And check this out, bro. Remember I mentioned before, a lot of times something happens and we say, oh man, I almost died. I could have such and such. Do you know that you're now having what we call reverse anxiety? Reverse anxiety. Check this out, man. This is so deep. Oh my God. I love it. This life is amazing, man. This is a beautiful place. Whew. I get to be Dr. B. This is fun. This guy is really out there. Reverse anxiety is when you talk about an event that happened that didn't happen the way you're explaining it, but it causes anxiety. Man, I could have died. They almost killed. They didn't kill you. They almost killed you. We don't even mention how good it was that we should just be mentioning, oh man, the angels came, what I'm saying? Or my ancestors came and they helped me. We always talk about how bad it could have been. That creates reverse anxiety. So that's anxiety about something that you don't even know nothing about. A lot of folks are having reverse anxiety about the past. Anxiety, did I say it right? Anxiety about the past that they weren't even witnesses to. They keep hearing about all this stuff that had happened, but you weren't a witness to it, but you're embodying it, right? Which now is muddying up the light. You're creating distorted light right now based on what you think the past was. And even if you were there, usually your rendition of the past is not exact and clean and clear and crisp because you are only remembering the anchor points of that memory. You don't remember everything about that day. What did it smell like? What did it look like? What did it feel like? Where did you feel a feeling in your body? Was it in your kidneys? Was it in your liver? Was it in your brain? Was it in your mind? Was it in your reproductive organs? Where was the memory? Because every memory is stored somewhere in your body. So now you got reverse anxiety from the past about what could have happened, what didn't happen, what happened to them, and what you think happened in the story they done told you. That's how they create mass distraction, right? And then you got this whole thing about what could happen, how bad it could be, or how good it could be. Instead of living in joy in this particular moment, you stay out of anxiety by living in the heartbeat of now, in the rhythm of this particular moment. Now, this is challenging to do, but this is some of the things that I teach. These are some of the things, the classes and workshops. We got a bunch of classes and workshops. The classes that I've been doing with Dr. Mahdi at elevationtime.com. Y'all haven't taken these classes? Why? What you need to go and check out these classes because Dr. Mahdi is on some stuff. So when we get together, it's a whole nother level because he's very scientific. He's a scientist. Dr. Mahdi. In fact, one day you got to have him on the show. This dude he was my student for many, many years. And then he went and became a naturopathic doctor. But he also studies quantum physics and all this. And he's just a scientist, man. He's not all emotional and caught up, but he gives it to you in such a smooth way. So we have this series called The Soulful Science of Change and Metamorphosis. The Soulful Science of Change and Metamorphosis. It's a series at elevationtime.com. Go take those classes because it talks about how a lot of us, we live in prediction mode. We're very predictive creatures. We start talking about and saying things that we're predicting that didn't happen. And usually, if we come from a family and a language of disempowerment, what we speak on is something that we really don't desire to happen. But we predict the worst because the language that you receive from your parents was usually about how bad it was, how hard it was, and what was done to us, and how the world is, that the universe is a terrible place, and you got to watch out, and you can't go to certain neighborhoods because they bad. The neighborhood that you calling good could be worse than the neighborhood you calling bad. Because they're all perspectives. And once you have a certain perspective, you begin to believe that perspective, right, based on your programming, your perspective comes from your perception, and your perception becomes a prediction. And then you begin to project your predictions into the galaxy and the universe. And the quantum field says, give him what he desires, give her what she desires, or give they what they desire, right? Why? Because you're telling your genies, you're creating a vapor in your body, a vortex at the top that is sucking in the worst that could happen. Man, this thing is so deep.
Man, oh man.
Let me just, before, because I know you may have some questions, let me just sum this up.
Yeah.
Where we are right now is in this photon band. Every atom, every particle, every neutrino is moving faster than they've ever seen it. Everything is vibrating at another level. Things are spinning. This quickening has gone past the quickening. The actual nature, if you look out at the plants, you see there's a different green. People talking about, well, I saw 2 suns. It's 3 suns. You just haven't been able to see them. There's several moons. You haven't been able to see them. There's 11 versions of the earth. You just may not haven't been able to see them because you got locked into this system, right? Where they began to control your mindset because we became part of a population control experiment. And you could break out of it because once you're programmed, the powerful ones break the program. You got to grow past your programming. We're in the photon band, and the earth and the energy is moving so quickly, right? Things are happening so fast that you're now able to do some things that you were never able to do before. There's people right now. Some of y'all can try it. If there's anybody out there that was not able to bend over and touch their toes, try it. Some people say, I can't do that. They haven't even tried it. Try it today. Well, I've never been able to do that, Dr. B. Try it right now. Shut up and stop projecting and predicting. Try to touch your toes. Somebody says, I can touch my toe. Well, touch it. Put your hands flat on the floor. Bend over. Don't bend your knees and put your hands flat on the floor. There's people that can do things right now that they weren't able to do before because your body is expanding. We're evolving. We're moving to this place, next level of this energy, where between now and 2027, that's when we're going to hit the high point. That's when we hit the crest. And that's why they're trying to figure out who's going to be in charge or who's going to be in charge in your mind, because that's the whole thing. Who's going to be in charge? Who's going to be in charge of your mind? Right. It's about who you voting for, who you electing, who you selecting in your mind. Where is your energy? What light are you creating? What is your talk? What are you creating in your mind? What seeds are you planting? Huh? You. It's back to you. Back to you, Jim. Back to you, Jane. Back to you, Charlie. What do you think they're talking about? Get back to yourself. In yourself and generate the energy that you would like to create, right? By each day, you have to take at least 7 minutes and focus on only what you truly desire. Only what you desire. And when you focus for 7 minutes, just 7 minutes a day, I don't care if you got a job, you might be Jamaican and you got 12 jobs. Take 7 minutes and focus only on what you desire. Back to the Jamaicans, by the way. Do you know there's energy in the soil of Jamaica? Do you want to know why there's so many powerful people and why the Jamaican people have this thing? It's like top of the morning. It could be a hurricane is on the way. Top of the morning, Dr. B. I'm like, what do you mean top of the morning? These trees is about to topple. They're not even on that. I'm boarding up the place. Another hurricane is coming. It's going to be all right. They have this energy because of what's in the soil, because there's a lot of humic acid, fulvic acid. Look in Haiti. Do you know what's in the soil? Iridium. There's 2 huge iridium mines on the planet. One is South Africa, and the other one is in Haiti. That's why they got the people suppressed and depressed, because that iridium, which we use in our product called platinum, is the time clock of nature. It's the time clock that lets you know how to know when and when to know how, when to talk, when not to talk.
Let me take a shot of your platinum now. Good. I'm sorry. Keep talking.
Take a shot too, bro, because this platinum, y'all want to know what I'm fired up on? Earlier, I was just fired up on water and tea, but I'm about to be fired up on some platinum now. So I don't know how much time we got, but it's about to get powerful. Platinum Life Elixir, the Gregory Reserve. What it does is it helps you use the light, because the elements in it create the propensity, or they open up the vortexes of every cell in your body and feed your mitochondria with the ATP that they need to create more light. More light is life. Life is light. When people begin to age, they're losing the ability to hold on to light, because they've seen so much and they heard so much and they've experienced so many things that are disagreeable, that you begin to age, and your telomeres, right, which are picking up, they're like telephones, right? And they're like, they send signals and they say, look, we're tired. The language of the body is all about how bad it is, so we don't need to be here that long. So the telomeres begin to break off. Those are like little telephones or little antennas at the ends of your genes. They begin to break off and they say, we don't need to be here anymore. But let me tell you something. Your telomeres right now are attempting to draw in this energy from Supernova 1987A and the Photon band and the light that just happened between the 3rd and the 9th of July. Sirius and our sun and the earth merged as one. This just happened, and it's never happened this way. It's never happened this way. What's happening now has never happened. People are waking up all over the place. People like, right as we're speaking, people are like, yeah, I feel that. Yeah, I know it. People are pumped up. This thing is not about to be what you think it's about to be. So stop predicting. You got to get into yourself and use your energy, because the photon band that we're in right now is asking you and begging you to choose to be your best self. And that's not just talk positive. It's about being, truly being, finding joy, finding 7 minutes in your day to focus on what you desire. Use your energy, get pumped up about you. Never mind the mass distraction, because they're coming with it. You about to see some stuff you ain't never seen. They're about to throw some shade things that, oh my God, to try to bend your feelings and to get you to promote and predict what they want you to predict and promote. You got to get into yourself and give yourself the voltage by snatching it. You got to steal it. Close your eyes sometimes and just feel and feel that you're in the 7 vibration, even though it's an 8. This year is an 8, but it's still what came before it was a 7. The 7 evolved into an 8. So 7 is a God or Christ-like consciousness that merges into an 8, and an 8 is a God that can build or destroy. That's Theta. The God or the being or the angel called Theta. Theta is the bridge, the Eta. It can build or destroy. You've got to figure out what you're going to build or destroy right now. What are you going to build and what are you going to destroy? In order to build, you got to destroy. You want to renovate a house, you got to get all the old wood and all the junk up out of there, put new stuff in there. This is what's happening in each of us. We got to tear down our old house. You was a renter. You didn't own it anyway. Your parents owned the house that you moved into. The energy field that you moved into. Your structure was basically coming from your parents or your community or your politics or your religions and all the rest of that stuff that you was in. So right now it's about tearing down the old house and now building a new house. That's why there's these events happening. That's why there's a whole thing happening. We got the awards. Has this ever happened where they were saying, well, Billy, you ain't gonna be able to do this awards thing. You pulled off one that slipped under the radar. You ain't gonna be able to do it again. How are they doing it again? And this was gonna be bigger than ever down in Miami. How is he doing it? You got Joe Rogan and Billy Carson, Joe Rogan, and Cat Williams. Have you heard some of the talk right now? See, they got all the disagreeable stuff going on and all the agreeable stuff happening at the same time. You have to choose. And then they want you to, they always want to bring in somebody that the guy's a scientist and he's a genius, but we got to bring in somebody who's a real scientist. Well, mister, you're right what you're saying, but we don't like the way you're saying it. Ain't that the way the man was talking? You're right what you're saying, but we don't like the way you're saying it. Well, I ain't here to be liked. People want likes now. You better get out of likes and get into your God power. The God power is your true being ready to what? Generate what you desire by being on the event horizon, snatching and stealing the energy, using the energy, creating a vortex where the biophotons can work through you. And this ain't got nothing to do with color, because people say, well, all black people. Stop for a minute. It's people right now. We better get into oneness. This division was created for you. We got to be one with ourselves. Never mind all that. Race. Why is it called race? Who's racing for what? What you running for? What are you running from? You in fight or flight. Once you're in a race, you're in fight or flight. Unless you're a competitor and you're running a race, okay? And look at the races. They got people running faster than they ever ran. Have you seen these people? Have you seen the competition? How people are going for it? But you have to be focused on really using all your energy and get out of fear and stop talking yourself out of stuff and stop telling your friends what you about to do. Because see, they're going to put their own energy on it. Well, we're going to pray for you. Dude, don't pray. I don't know which God you praying to. Don't pray for me. Praying is begging. You're supposed to be what? In a place where you're grateful for what you have. But a lot of people, they got so many parasites and so many toxins in their body that they can't get enough light. They can't generate enough light, because one of the things that parasites do is they suck out your light. When you see them under the microscope, you see them glowing. They suck light from your cells. I'm not just talking about the ones in your colon and your digestive tract. That's easy. We're talking about the systemic parasites. They are light creatures. They suck light. Some of them got little antennas on them that are like lit up. You ever see those fish under the water that have the, the bioluminescent antennas? They call them anglers and stuff, and they under the water and they got their own light bulbs. Some of these parasites are exactly the same thing. So that's why we came out with that elevated total body program to help folks deal with those beings that's in them, that's sucking out their light. They suck your energy. So we have to realize we're in this place we've never been in before. So don't predict what you think is about to happen. You got to be ready to navigate. And just keep in mind that 90% of every journey is course correction. We have to correct ourselves. Don't get caught up in, well, you heard what they said about such and such. See, they got you already. You heard what they said about such and such, and you got to go look it up. It ain't none of your business. Your busyness need to be what? Minding your busyness and busynessing your mind. That's what time we're in. There's mental parasites sucking your light. There's interdimensional or non-physical parasites taking your light. Once you decide and choose, I am going to call in my light. You can hold your hands up. We're going to do some stuff next week that's going to help people bring their light back. With, the music, what I'm going to do is create a vortex of energy. Whether you're online watching, you know what I'm saying? Whether you're there, we're going to create this energy vortex through the light force of soul and sound. It's amazing. And what we're going to do has never been done before. Brother Rich, what you're doing right now has never been done before. Even this gathering of the masses has never been done. Nothing like this has ever been done. People want to compare. Well, they did something like this back in New York. They ain't never did nothing like this. They ain't never been a Brother Rich. Look how you got the guy that's holding the mic. That ain't never happened. Ain't nobody never been on television or YouTube or whatever. What the God is holding the mic. Why you got the God that's holding the light? And look how, as I'm talking about light, have you noticed how her right is blinking? What is that, Brother Rich? I can't hear you, brother.
That's a light that I have behind the statue to just give it a glow.
And that's what you think is happening. Why is the light blinking on the right? So if you go biblical, they said cast your net to the right. Because light energy, there's a special type of light, an angle of light that comes in through the side of your right head, right by the temple. It comes in. And the fact that how many of y'all out there have been having the ringing in the ears getting louder? Like right now, this is like 5-6 notes ringing in my head constantly. Those are the signals that you're receiving from the environment. Now they got some medicine, they can numb you up. You don't feel it. You don't hear it. You know what I'm saying? Because you think it's a problem. But the ringing in your ears are the bells and the bell tones and the frequency tones and the overtones and the undertones and the inner tones and the dimensional frequencies that are attempting to give you a signal from the etheric realm, from the causal realm, from the astral realm. You see, from the universe. All these signals are coming to us right now, attempting to wake us up to what? Getting back to what we naturally love. What are you passionate about? You were passionate about something when you were young. Well, me and Brother Rich, we're still passionate about music. So we do music no matter what. I don't even do music for the money. I do music because I want it. I just went on the road with one of my best friends, Kev Mo. And he was like, well, how much you want? I'm just doing this. You see what I'm saying? Check this out. Somebody asked me this, but Dr. B, how much does it cost for you to do such and such? I said $1 million. Just for you to, I'm telling you what $1 million, right? $1 million of these fiat things will cause me to get up and say, go do something. Now you might say, well, I don't have that. Well, you can give me what you can, but it's $1 million. If you start acting like $1 million, then you start acting like $1 billion. You become a billionaire energetically, but you got to ask big. You got to ask, you got to tell the genies, you got to generate the energy and have it's people would like an experience. Give people an experience. People would like to have an experience, but you've got to push your value up high. And the more value you feel, the more light you bring. That don't mean you're going to get the $1 million. You're going to get the million what? Rays of light. Why do you think that Bush dude was talking about, and 1,000 rays of light? And 1,000, he kept waving his hand, talking about 1,000 beams and 1,000 points of light. What do you think he was talking about? Light.
Right.
It's all about light. And right now we're able to obtain more light than ever. So this is why we have things like the platinum, because you're going to receive more light. This is why I take things like the focus to help your brain focus more information, which is light. This is why we have the elevated total body program, so you can get more light. This is why we have the devices that help to help to change the frequency of radiation, so we can have more light, because the more radiation you have, the less light, because all the radioactive energies, like they got 6G now, you know. They got 5G. That's old school. That's like from back in the day. They got 6G. We got, you know, have you turned off your router at night? Rich, you ever turn your router off? Turn your router off at night. Y'all try that. Just one night. If only for one night, your whole life changes, because those frequencies are not pulsing through your body, shading the light. Be the light. All right, I'll take questions now.
Love it, Dr. B. Love it. Love the talk. I'm gonna take about 2 questions from the family. Give me some questions in the chat. I'm gonna let y'all give me 2 questions, and then we're gonna get out of here. Magnificent conversation with Dr. B tonight, family. I really hope y'all listened, took notes about this light that we are surrounded by, that is coming to the planet, that's in the universe at this time. It's a gift to be alive right now, y'all. It truly is a gift to be alive. I want to make sure y'all do not miss, if y'all seen the show this week, it's a glimpse of how magnificent the Gathering of the Masses is going to be. I really don't want y'all to miss this Gathering of the Masses, y'all. The link to get the live stream is pinned at the top of the chat. I'm going to share it once again, family. Dr. B is going to be there. It's going to be off the chain. Yaki Awakens is going to be there. It's going to be absolutely magnificent. Let's get to this. I see some questions here. What does I don't even know what this is. What does Dr. B think about Grabavo numbers? Do you know what that is? Grabavi?
I have no idea what those are.
Yeah, I don't know what that is either. You could elaborate for us. I don't know what that is.
And I think, you know.
All right. Go ahead, Dr. B.
Just the way they wrote my name, Dr. Period B. That's not me. So I don't know who you call him. So be careful what you call folks. It's Doctah.
Doctah.
B. Sirius. There's science behind the name.
Indeed. Okay. Does the 13,000-year period also line up with supposed pole shifts?
Yes, we just experienced a pole shift. The shifts are polling. The shifts are polling.
The poles are
polling. There we go. The shifts are polling. We're winning in the polls. Who's winning in the polls? Why they call them polls? Because the poles are shifting. The North Pole is no longer. I think the star was Polaris. It is no longer pointing towards that star. It's changed. It's shifted. The skin, the crust of the earth is like the skin of an orange. If you could take an orange, cut it, right, and remove the skin and then put the skin back on, you could slip the skin around the orange. So the crust of the earth is like slipping and sliding. This is how you get the drifting of the continents. This is what they call continental drift, because all of the continents were together at one time. That's why it's impossible for you to be from Africa, because there was no Africa. There was only one big continent, which they started calling Pangea and Ethos, and had a lot of different names, but it was all one. They said, but people weren't there then. Well, how come the people that just got here are going to tell you who wasn't here? You're going to let the people that just got here tell you how long you've been here, you be here. And also tell you what's going on, where Lucy is. And Lucy, listen, that's light. You're going to say that is the first light being, Lucy, the little teeny lady, the lady with an African body and a monkey brain. I mean, come on. That is not the oldest being. We have always been, and we will always be. We just manifest differently. So yes, we are having a pole shift. Now, some of y'all are having an internal pole shift tonight. Some folks tonight will never, ever be the same. They're having a pole shift. When you decide to change your direction, when you change your intentions, you shift. When you change certain foods and stop eating foods that are eating you, that's a pole shift. When you change your mind, that's a pole shift. Some folks that will be at the Gathering of the Masters will have a pole shift. Folks that will come to the awards will have a pole shift. The biggest pole shift you're going to have is when you come to God Power 3. next year. We shouldn't talk about that right now. It's coming. God Power 3 coming to a place near you.
Hey, man. Dr. B, let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
I know you've dealt with dyslexia in the past. How would a dyslexic person say, I want money, if they're suffering from dyslexia?
How would they say it?
Yeah, what is dyslexia? You say things back. What is dyslexia exactly?
When I was in junior high, I believe they said that I had dyslexia. I think it was middle school, because dyslexia is when you look at letters and numbers, they're all moved around, not in the order that the European people said they should be in.
Right.
So technically, people from the East, they read from the bottom of the page to the top, and they also read from the right to the left. That's considered a type of dyslexia, because the Euros told you what is normal. They created the rules, and they created more rules. So if you don't follow that order of seeing and feeling, they say that you're dyslexic or something's wrong with you, or you're slow, or you're retarded. So I was considered slow. I was considered retarded. I was considered dyslexic. So that is a disease. Now, they also said there was a medicine that they could give me. My mother was like, if he's dyslexic, that's how he reads. But that's being, I'm selecting things in a certain way and seeing things through the lens that's natural to me. So most of the things that I've created have never been created before. Even when I was, really doing a lot of commercial music with record companies, I started trends that had never been started before, because I don't know the normal way of seeing, hearing, and feeling. So I'm just flowing naturally, being totally creative. So a person that is clinically dyslexic, they look at words and the numbers or the words are all turned around. You see, they're scrambled, and sometimes they're moving. Sometimes, like when I'm reading things, they're moving. So what I have to do so that I can read normally, I have to read in a different voice. When I read in a different voice, because when you're reading to yourself, you're talking usually in your voice. Check this out. So what I learned how to do was read in a different voice. So let's say if I was reading something right now, when I said, in my voice, my regular voice, programming, perception, prediction, projections, proactive, self-fulfilling prophecies. If I change my voice and I say programming, projection, and I read in my mind in a different voice, all of a sudden everything lines up. It's like a stutterer. If you sing, or the person who stutters, they sing, they don't stutter because they're using a different voice. So sometimes the reason why we have dyslexia is because the way the light is coming to us is totally unique. We don't fit the current paradigm. So what you have to do is create a space, right? A place or a voice that's different than the one that you have. You create a character. So that one can read. So in order for me to read like what they call the normal mindset, I have to read in a different voice. Am I making sense? I have to speak. Sometimes when I'm reading online, folks come to some of my classes, I'll start like stammering over the words until I start reading in a different voice. And I start using the words and I start blah, blah, blah. And I get a whole nother thing. And then my body says, that's not me. So dyslexia is when things are scrambled for you, but they might be normal for you. I don't know if did I answer the question?
Yeah, you did.
So a lot of us are dyslexic naturally.
Yeah, I asked that questions because I've been doing some investigation. You wasn't a part of the panel I had. I had a panel with Billy, Rod Hayes, Sharif Bey, and his brother named Vidal. And we was doing I got this recorder that I've been using for music, because I'm doing a lot of reverse sampling at this time in my music, at this musical stage in my life, where I'll play something, play something and play it in reverse, chop it up, and then experiment, or even a sound. It could be a guitar, but I'll just use it in reverse or whatever. So I had this recorder, and I was just like playing everything in reverse to hear how it sounds. And in my mind, I was like, is that what is dyslexia go, backwards or whatever? And I wanted to ask you, in terms of manifestation, do you think, we talk about light code lockdown, Do you think that might be one of the possible keys to breaking through the light code lockdown, is maybe talking to God in a dyslexic way? You know, if they reversed everything, maybe talking to God in a dyslexic way is an easier way to break through to the quantum field than the way that we've been taught, since everything we've been taught been reversed or, you know, switched up on us. But if I had the recorder, I don't know where I put it. I got it somewhere, y'all. I got all these gadgets around me. I don't know where the recorder is at though. Go ahead, you write something down. I see that look on your face, Dr. B. So what's on your mind, Dr. B? I see that look on your face, Doc. What's on your mind, Doc?
Okay, so check it out.
You excited now? I said something that sparked something.
When I do what they call subconscious alignment, we have to come up with a goal. So we ask a person, what do you desire? So it's just like the genie saying, what is your desire? So it's like, I am standing in for your genie and I'm asking what it is. What is your goal? Where would you like to end up? What place would you like to be? So once we work through that, because a lot of folks, when they ask for something that they desire, they're also reeling in what they don't desire. You have to cut all that out. Don't say that I don't want to be, you know, sad and lonely. You got to figure out what is it that you would desire if you were there. And then we create a feeling, and then we create what they call a language syntax. So I'm going to give you a good language syntax, which you can use as a mantra. You know, I allow myself to be my best self. That's a mantra. I allow myself to be my best self. So to get this to really be like scrolled in the scroll, in the DNA, you write it 7 times with your right hand. Check this out. And you write it 7 times with your left hand. Now, one of them is going to be kind of, you know, weird because the left hand, one of them hands is going to be, you know, different. You write it anyway. For the most powerful mantras, and I'm giving this one away.
The
most powerful mantras, period, are mantras that when you read them backwards, they have the same intent in a very poetic way. So check this out. You ready for this?
Yes.
This is how we know this is the mantra.
Yeah.
I allow myself to be my best self. Backwards. Self best. My be. To myself allow I. Forward. I allow myself to be my best self. Backwards. Self best. My be. To myself allow I.
You're going to make me get my recorder. I got to bring it out. I'm excited now. Go ahead, Dr. B. Let me get my recorder. Hold up, man. Hold up, man.
What we're doing is reading it backwards. That writes the script on a whole different part of your psyche. Writing it with your right hand, writing it, not typing it on some computer or some buttons that really don't have any real weight in your subconscious. You got to be writing, scripting. That's why they took writing out of the school and all that kind of stuff, because scripting and scoring is kinesthetic, auditory, visual experiences. Writing is kinesthetic, auditory, visual experiences. Writing it down, you know, they give everybody tablets now so that you don't use all of your soul. Because when you write, you're creating light. So check it out. Writing it with your right hand, it writes the information like on a screen on one side or one part of your brain, of your mind too. Writing it with your left hand, same thing, begins to write it on another part of your brain, of your mindset. Then when you read it backwards, it taps into a part of your auric field, your magnetosphere, and a part of your universe that you may not have tapped into because you've been moving forward in straight lines and you haven't created a spiral. So when I say I allow myself to be my best self, it sounds like English, right? Sounds, oh yeah, I got that. We know what that means, Doc. That's really good. When I say self-best my be, self-best my be, Do you hear that? To myself.
Yeah.
Allow I.
Dr. B, let me play you it in reverse. How it would sound if you reversed it on a and when I was on the show with Billy and them and Rod, I was saying how, because we was talking about, the question I asked was because I was talking about the Hebrews reading from right to left, and I was like, when you play something in reverse, it sounds either Hebrew or Arabic or whatever. It sounds Hebrew or Arabic. Even the way the tongue is rolling when it's saying, I'm like, damn, this sounds like a foreign, ancient or a foreign language, man. So we definitely. Why is my son here? Sirius, what are you doing? Sirius, when now that I'm talking about this, Sirius had to come on and get serious. Come on, no, Daddy's working. Come on, Daddy's on the show. Say hi. Say hi. Say hi. Say hi. Let me say hi. That's my little.
Wow.
That's my little.
Look at those eyes.
Yeah, the eyes. It's my little man.
That's a crystal being.
Yeah.
What's happening, Crystal?
Yeah, big man. Yeah, big man. Close the door. Yeah, he had to.
You done really did something. You really doing something, bro.
He felt the energy. So he felt the energy. So let me play this here. Hold on. Let me
You want me to say it, then play it backwards?
Say it. Then I'm playing backwards. Say it.
I allow myself to be my best self.
Okay, and let me play it for. Can you hear that? You can hear it, Dr. B?
Play it again.
You hear it?
Yeah, you need to get closer to the mic.
You hear it?
That's good.
All right, now we're gonna play it in reverse. It sounds like Hebrew or something. The way it rolls off the tongue, you're using your throat chakra. Like we don't use our throat chakra like that. It's very dry and we don't do the hook. We don't do the hook. You know how to hook. We don't go deep in our throat to talk like that. So hearing that, it's like doing something different, man. But yeah, we gotta start experimenting. I don't know what gave me the idea to even start talking about that on the show, but yeah, man, I'm experimenting with sampling with my music and stuff. Go ahead, Dr. B. I see that face. I see that look on your face again, Dr. B. So
get your recorder out again. I'm going to show you something here.
Okay, it's out. Come on.
I want you to record this. You ready?
Yeah.
Dr. B Sirius.
I can't pick it up because I got the headphones on.
Well, how'd you do it before?
No, you want me to say it?
No, I need to say it.
Okay.
You did it. Wasn't that me before? When you recorded me saying it, right?
No. I said that. That was me saying that.
That was when you said I allow myself to be my best self.
Yeah, that was me.
We got to play this in Dr. B's voice. Get your technology together.
Let me see. Let me
get in the headphone.
Let me hook something up. Yeah. Let me. I gotta hold it and give me a second, y'all. Let me hold everything together. Hold on. Let me connect this. Give me a second, y'all. All right.
Language.
Dr. B, you hear me?
Yes, I do.
All right, go ahead.
Dr. B Sirius.
That's all you want to say?
That's it. Play that back.
Say it one more time.
Dr. B Sirius.
Okay, hold on. Let me give me a second.
Get ready now. See, I've already done this, so this will be all right. Be serious. We're
gonna go in reverse now. What is this saying? Sirius what? It's interesting how even though it's reversed, it's still saying Sirius.
So remember I told you. Remember I told you that if you could say something and have it backwards, have the same meaning, it's the most powerful mantra. If it still has the essence, the crystallized essence of the light waves backwards and forwards. See, English.
Stop. Go ahead. No, stop. Go ahead.
English was designed in a way where most of what you're saying, when it's backwards, it gets confusing.
Mm.
A lot of the original tongues, the way they spoke was the way the universe, they spoke based on the universal tongue. They spoke based on the way the universe or the light waves of the energy was shining through them. And backwards and forwards, it's the same thing, it just gets a poetic sound. It just sounds more musical. So like even in drumming, there's certain rhythms that we're supposed to play backwards and forwards. And I talked about this in God Power, when you are able to say something over and over and check this out and focus on a candle or a fire. You know what's happening when you're sitting around a fire? Have you noticed what happens when people sit around a campfire? First they talk, oh my God, the fire, and then everybody gets quiet. You know why? Because they go into alpha. 10 hertz. Fire flickers at 10 hertz. Fire flickers and lives at 10 hertz. Have you seen the devices they got now that put out fire with sound? What they do is they put a reverse wave. Like, so you got positive 10 hertz. If you put negative 10 hertz, so if you have like two speakers and they're out of phase, it will cancel the sound. It's one of the things that we do to cancel a sound or reverse the phase in music. So you can't hear things. They call it masking. In music, they use a thing called backwards masking, especially in the 60s and 70s. It was a part of population control. If you listen to any Beatles song backwards, get ready for your mind to be blown. Any Beatles song backwards, you're going to be like, whoa, what was that? And then if you slow it down, if you're a DJ, you can slow that sucker down. Get ready for your mind to be blown. Because what they were doing was putting things in the music, right? And they would flip it around backwards. So all you might hear is you play that sucker forward and you hear what they're saying. And it has to do with programming, putting predictive programming in people. It was a part of what they call COINTELPRO to control people's minds. Why were the Beatles so famous? A lot of people will tell you they weren't really that talented. I know some of the musicians right now that actually put that music together. You think it was those guys, the Beatles. Why do they call the Beatles? Because they use the energy of the scarab. The scarab is one of the most powerful symbols there is. In fact, a whole lot of what you call the Giza Plateau, those buildings, those pyramids and everything, a lot of them are based on the movement of the scarab bug or the scarab beetle. The way the sun, they follow the sun, they make lines in the sun, and they carry these dung balls, which have their eggs in them, right? And they move these dung balls across, and they put a hole and they bury the dung beetle, the dung balls in the shape of a pyramid. They say that the Giza Plateau is all based on the scarab beetle. Have y'all seen the scarab beetle? If you've seen one, they've come out certain times. They're out now, especially on the West Coast. They got all the colors of the chakras in them. They're bioluminescent. They change colors. And what's happening is the scarab beetle, it has a lot to do with making you feel like this is something from home, something original. So they created this group. Why they call them the Beatles? And they had penis hairdos. You was getting screwed. They was taking your stuff and twisting it. And they had songs that was all about getting high. They was high on LSD. We all live in a yellow submarine. What are y'all talking about? These songs was about getting high because at that particular time, a lot of people were becoming hippies. People were moving out. People would be living off the grid. They was out in, having, they was being nude and naked and natural, getting the sun and living in the waters and eating natural foods. And that's where the whole veganism started. Actually, Dick Gregory is the first person we ever heard use the word vegan back in the day. But what happened was people was getting off the grid and out of the matrix. They were getting nasty, and they said, "Oh, they're being nasty. They're having wild sex and orgies." Orgies may be the origins of life. We don't, we get real judgmental here about what we're supposed to do based on the rules and the morals that we were given. So the Beatles and a whole lot of these groups that were big at that particular time, the record companies were putting backward masking in the record. The group may not even have known about it. But when you send your record to get it mastered, what you mean mastered? I go in the studio, make a song. I produce it. I mix it. Me and the band, we create it, we write it, and I can't put it out till it goes to the master ring. Master ring, the ring of the master engineer. But what does he do? Well, he's going to make it sound really good. So in other words, you're saying my song that I created wasn't good enough? I got to take it to the master? I got to give it to Massa. And Massa's usually this guy. Usually don't look nothing like none of us. He's pink. And he's going to tell me what sounds good. How you going to tell me what sounds good? Because he's going to suck the soul out of it. And on many of those pop songs at the time, and some black songs too, they would put these reverse speech or backwards masking in the song to what? Program the people's minds to get people all to act a certain way. So the Beatles becomes like one of the biggest pop groups ever. What is pop music? What is popping people's brains? Popping brain cells. What's popular? Popular is when they've been able to pop your brain like a grape and to get you to go along with some stuff you might not even have liked it until you heard it over and over and over, and all your friends liked it, so now you like it too. This is all a part of COINTELPRO mind control, placing what we call electrical or energetic or electronic bugs in your head, parasites that suck your life force out and suck your light out. So even musically right now, the best music right now is in the underground. You got people doing music. We keep talking about how bad music is. That's because you're listening to the mainstream. Why are you listening to the mainstream? There's people right now making music on YouTube that's off the chain. Anytime you turn on the music and the song don't have no intro anymore, it just busts right into the hook. And the melody is the same as all the rest of the melodies. There's no bridge. There's no high point. There's no orgasm. It's the same thing going around and around. Your brain is being popped. But when you get into actual music, people are putting their feelings. Soul has got to do with expressive music, expressing yourself in your own way. And it doesn't have to be anything what you call, commercial. What you call a hit is something that's hitting you over your head and making you buy it. So when we become totally creative in ourselves right now is the time when you could do whatever you truly like and you get out of TikTok. You get out of the timing. You get out of the frequency. There's devices. In fact, I was telling you about one today. This device that actually makes your music sound super warm and fat and analog. We're going back now. You made
me spend all that money today, Doc.
You didn't spend that money. You invested in something. Yeah. That one device I told you to get today is going to change everything. You're going to call me next week screaming. You're going to call me and say, Doc, what is this? Because what I do, I don't just record. I use digital. But I have a technique that I created many, many years ago called Digilog. And what I do is I'm able to take analog frequencies and capture them digitally for manipulation process, for editing. Then I'm able to turn them back into analog again just before the people get it. So any of the music that I have, like the music that we have at the website right now, elevationtime.com, that medicine music, it's analog. It went through a digital process at a certain point. But then we turn it back into analog so it sounds warm, so that the natural healing frequencies and the warmth and what we call natural distortion is what tubes and transistors and instruments and things that get hot. You know what I'm saying? They need heat. They got some of the stuff that I use in the studio got to warm up for half the day before the tubes actually begin to illuminate, and they're light. They put out light. Tubes, for electronics, they put out light. So we're getting to a place where people they would like more light in their music. They want more light in their food. They need more light in their life. They need more love lights. You see? So what we're doing right now is we're creating that. We're not talking about what isn't. Right now, go into the underground. Go into the place and support artists that may not be famous, but they making something that's moving your soul. Support the small, what they call the local farmers. Because the local farmers, their food didn't travel all the way halfway across the planet, 5,000 miles, and lose its light. When your food has lost its light and they got to fix it and they got to flavor it and enhance it and enrich it, it's dead. Live food doesn't travel very far. It's going to be somewhere around you. Right. It grows in your area. So food, it needs to be live. We need to go listen to live, support live music, go to concerts again. We're about to put together a whole bunch of things where we're going to have live experiences like what Brother Rich is doing right now next week. That's a live experience for people to have that visceral live experience. That is amazing. And, you know, a couple years ago, all of a sudden, nobody couldn't do nothing live. It was all about, you know, the internet blew up. Mm-hmm. But it's still different going out, getting the live soul, feeling the soul, drinking the actual tea, taking the herbs. When folks take, say, the platinum, right, they have an experience. There are so many experiences people have when they use these products, when they use the focus. And especially when folks do that, do our 28-day elevated total body program. Do you know what happens to you in 28 days? Your whole biorhythm changes. You now are receiving more light. You're picking up more light. You have more ability and a more capacity to pick up more light and the whole light and to be the light bearer. See, for the whole time of Aquarius, that was the time of manipulation. That was the time when people were easily manipulated because we were so far on that 26,000-year calendar. We were so far away from the.
You mean Pisces? You mean Pisces? Age Pisces?
Pisces. Cancel, cut, delete, and clear. During Pisces. Pisces was the time of manipulation. Because we were so far away from Hanab-Ku, or the central sun, we stopped receiving so much information and light. It became dark. We went through what we call the Iron Age, which became the Rusty Age. So this is why prophets came. Prophets were people that still carried their own light. You see? And they begin to guide us. We had to have them for a minute. But now there's no prophets coming. You have to prophet. You have to be the prophetic one. Mm-hmm. And each one of us could do it as long as we lean towards it and step into it. We're out of the Iron Age. We're out of the age of manipulation. We're now in the age of what? You becoming the light. We're moving back towards the center of the galaxy. We have had a huge shift on the planet. And that's why with commercials and even with politics, they're trying to pull you and distract you because they know people now are off of we're off the farm. People got off the farm. A whole lot of people are off the farm. So when we start talking about how bad it is and how people are suffering and what people don't do, it ain't true because you don't know enough people to even say that. You know a small, very small sample group of people. So if you keep listening to what social media says about people and how they are and how they act, you believe that. You believe that black people act this way, Hispanic people. What is a Hispanic person anyway? What is a black person? These definitions get really weird. See, so we get caught up in the old way, in the old rhythm. We're on a merry-go-round. You know that merry-go-round was a scary thing, man. Horses look ugly. The music, do. Do you know that is that whole music from the merry-go-round was hypnotism? It wasn't even right. Do. You wouldn't play this in your song. Those rhythms, that light wave and the whole laughing. You putting your little children on the merry-go-round. So now your children from the beginning are programmed to what? Think that that's normal. And your brain does not totally develop until 25 years old. Did you know this? Mm-hmm. The brain does not. We just talked about this, Brother Mahdi. Go check out the Soulful Science series. But we just talked about this 2 weekends ago about how the brain doesn't totally develop to 25. But look at all the choices you're made to make before 25. You get married. You have children, you get a job, you go to college. Now, some of us are actually focused enough to be able to be clear, and we create a new brain and we stay with it. But a lot of people, their brain has been crystallized on a merry-go-round, and they're just going around and around in a circle and agreeing to some things that are not agreeable. So what we got to do is flip the whole thing right now. A lot of the things they're telling us to be afraid of, you need to go check that out. That stuff over, that's evil. Go check it out. Go see what they're calling evil. You may see you, and you see your people, and they said, that's evil. They're the devils. Well, who told you this? You have to go explore for yourself. So adventure. It's time to go on an adventure. Y'all get out of your comfort zones. Let's get some real music. If you're looking for some that you'd like, go check out Dr. B's medicine music at the website, elevationtime.com. You know, come out to events, you know, come to, if you can make it to Florida, you know, and go to the awards, it's going to be amazing because you get to meet folks, and that whole vibration of being able to give love and respect to people who've been out here, you know, 24/7 to give light and be lighthouses. But each one of us, it's time for us to be our own lighthouse. Let's shine, y'all. Let's stop listening to what they said about you and stop asking your friends and your neighbors what you should do and how you should think. And stop going along with this, you know, the squat. What is the status quo? That Q there, right? Q is a pointer. That's a cue. Give them a cue. Tell them when. Tell them what to think, how to feel about this. That don't even naturally go with you. Tap into your genie and begin to generate. And when you generate, you begin to elevate. What time is it? It's elevationtime.com. Anything else, Brother Rich?
Nah, I think that's about it. We done passed the 2-hour mark, and man, what a show. What a night, what a show. Family, I'm gonna be back tomorrow night. Let me turn this down. I turned it up with the Can you still hear me, Dr. B?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, I'm gonna be back tomorrow with Sharif Bey, family, at 9 p.m. He's gonna have an absolutely amazing presentation. We've been live every day this week. We gearing up for a lot. We gearing up for Lionsgate. August is an important month, you know. Around August, September, that's when the Sirius star system, you can see it in the sky again. You know, it starts to be visible in the nighttime sky. It's just, Dr. B talked a lot about how important September is, the harvest month. Last year, he was talking about the importance of September. I believe a couple of people, Aquarius, talked about the importance of September. It's the next couple of months is going to be very important for us, family. So I want us to be tapped in. If you haven't already, family, make sure you get your live stream tickets to the Gathering of Masters. It's one of the biggest conferences that happened in the last 100 years, spiritual conferences. People coming from all over the world. I got people coming from Angola, Africa, Kenya, the West Indies, Japan, Canada, New Zealand, what's that? Britain, so many different places. Mexico. I mean, the whole world is coming to experience this Gathering of Masters. Be a part of it. Dr. B is going to have an absolute amazing musical presentation in the beginning. We're making sure it's going to be right now. And yeah, things are going great, man. So make sure you're tapped in. Y'all click on that link. Dr. B, I want to thank you once again for coming on the show. Keep doing your thing. Make sure you'll go to Dr. B's website,
elevationtime.com.
Dr. B, man, you got to bring some of your herbs to the gathering. You got to bring something, man. You got to bring something.
Okay, so let me just say this, and I'm going to say two things. The products that we create at Elevation are not herbal products. They are alchemical substances,
right,
which are very sensitive to the environment. Who's touching them? Did you know that when you grab a bottle of any of Dr. B's products and hold it in your hand, it begins to change its crystallization, its vibration to the frequency of the person that's taking it?
Mm-hmm.
That's why we have the flower of life. That's why there's not just herbs in here. There's flower essences. And flower essences act differently in different people. There's essential oils. There's all these things that's in the product that are changed by the environment. So when you grab it, it changes. So I'm not going to promise that I'm going to bring that, but we have something that we're going to offer that we haven't offered before that will be there. There will be something, but I'm not going to promise. A lot of folks been calling, Dr. B, we're going to bring your herbs. If I do, the environment is going to change them and they could become different than what we created. Now, so let's just say that. And one more thing, you mentioned September. You mentioned the Lionsgate. Did you know when Lionsgate starts? You know how they tell you Lionsgate is 888?
Yeah.
That's not true. Lionsgate starts on July the 3rd, when Sirius, the sun, and the earth are in perfect alignment. It opens up an energy vortex where that wave of energy keeps riding. The wave becomes more and more, the amplitude of the wave becomes more and more until it reaches October. Do you see what I'm saying? Until it reaches, it's in August, October, all the way into the harvest season. That all begins on the 3rd, because that's what creates the harvest based on the angle of the sun, the earth, and Sirius. So a lot of us are waiting for Lionsgate. That's another European way of thinking. No, it's already happening. You're in it. This is the summertime is the gate of the lion. This is the Lion of Judah. Play that backwards. The Lion of Judah. Start taking a lot of things and flipping them backwards. But we're in it. So don't wait until some event happens. You have to be the event. The event, right? Gathering of the Masters is already happening. It's not happening on just the dates. Don't just come to the event. You need to bring the event. Bring it as your person. Don't wait for the awards. Start giving awards and flowers first to yourself and then to those who you respect and love. Don't wait to God Power 3 to tap into your God power, because if you keep waiting for things, then you gain more weight. It's not about an instance happening at one time. It's the oneness within yourself. We're going to talk about at the gathering, because I'm going to talk about that to open up the event. Is this oneness principle and what that's really about. So we are in the gate of the lion. Be truthful with yourself. Be transparent. Elevationtime.com. Thank you very much, Brother Rich. You're doing an amazing job. And she is blinking. Your priestess up there is blinking.
I think that's supposed to be a dude. I think. Yeah, I think that's supposed to be
a priestess. It's a they. Theist. So what I'm saying is that energy, right, is blinking because it's guiding. It's a guiding light, and it's green. That is heart. And when you go see that Inside Out, they're talking about this. It's a lot of things available right now. And a lot of these movies and shows are basically soft disclosure about what's really happening. And it's usually in science fiction and, you know what I'm saying? And that kind of stuff and cartoons. And it's a beautiful time. So let's take advantage of it. Let's talk more about what is happening and what we'd like to create, and stop complaining about what almost happened, what could have happened, and what we think is going to happen. Let's create the happening in ourselves right now. This is a beautiful time. Thank you very much, Brother Rich. You've got an amazing audience, and much love to you all. Love yourselves as much as I love you. Travel light, be the lighthouse. It's elevation time. Let's go.
Thank you, Dr. B. See you next time, my brother.
Thank you.
All right, family. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. We signing out right now, family. Let me see. Yeah, we getting out of here, right, family? Don't forget, before I click the button, tomorrow 9 p.m. Sharif Bey will be live with an epic presentation. It's gonna be amazing. My son over there waiting for me. All right, family. I'm gonna see y'all tomorrow. All right? Y'all have a good night. Make sure y'all get your tickets. All right.